As I was just reading Sally's quote, I was reminded of in the Eros and Psyche myth, when Eros and Psyche finally come together in a second, later, mature expression of the sacred masculine. They have three children whose names are bliss, ecstasy, and joy. So you can see that there's kind of within the Western system, even though they don't talk about Tantra in the same way that we know it, that it existed in a kind of a hidden way. But it had to do with connecting with the East that really fleshes this out for us. Now, this brings us to, okay, what do I have to offer any of you who want to further this process within yourselves? And we've pulled together a series of workshops to honour the different possibilities of. Very immediately, in fact in a few days in Perth, we're doing a 3 Faces of Lilith workshop, working with this fierce tantric warrioress goddess who both carries these distortions but also is one of the greatest allies we can have in terms of ultimate, honest, true, real, authentic relationship. So that's a 2-day, very deep, alchemical kind of process going on there. In honour of the conjunction on May 16 and 17 in Melbourne, we're doing 2 days on the sacred marriage to both work with Jupiter and Juno, but also with the other kind of astrological connections to that process at the time. So that'll be a very powerful workshop as well, which will be followed in June 22nd and 23rd, where I'm doing another sacred marriage workshop, but with the brilliant Andrew Harvey. Those of you who don't know Andrew is an extraordinary kind of spiritual scholar, spiritual teacher, facilitator. He's written 35 plus books at last count, and who's an extraordinary, inspiring individual. He's pioneering what is called sacred activism, how to translate our inner practices into passionate engagement in the world. And how he describes this is that in order to be able to make a difference in the world, we need to both reclaim the sacred feminine, but also to use authentic tantric practices to generate juice, the passion, to be able to bring the fruits of our inner lives out into the world. Now, Andrew and I have worked together 3 times in the last few years, and we have a great time. We complement each other really well. His teachings are brilliant, as well as his group facilitation. And then I bring in the experiential astrology so that we can embody and work with the energies in that kind, in the form of the experiential astrology. So they're very rich, kind of one-off experiences. Also in July, in Perth, I'm going to offer a 10-week group for men, which is called The Goddess in Every Man. It's an opportunity for a group of men to work with these different layers of the feminine within themselves, which is a tremendous opportunity to both understand the more hidden layers of their own inner feminine, but work that also puts them in a much more conscious place to relate to the women in their world, to relate to the feminine in all their outer forms. This is something that I've been brewing for a few years but haven't had the opportunity to offer. in conjunction with that will be a 10-week online course for anybody who wants to work with this relationship between the sacred feminine and the masculine. Now, this is just being conceived. In fact, this particular online course conceived itself this morning as we're leading into this talk. So if you want to keep up with anything that I have to offer, please go on my website and connect with my internet newsletter, which comes out at the beginning of every month. It's the easiest way of keeping track of what I'm doing. Now, these courses will also culminate. They will lead to the biggest event I'm offering this year, and the one that I'm most looking forward to. And that is the next Goddess Tour of India, which is in October 15th to the 29th. And despite its label, there's going to be a very strong emphasis on the sacred marriage within that particular tour. Part of it is that we do lots of inner practices around the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine, and then we go and visit the different temples in this particular region of India that I'm very close to. It'll be an extraordinary couple of weeks, and it also coincides with Navaratri, which is the yearly 9-day festival to honour the goddess. So these are what we have to offer for you this year of the sacred marriage, and very keen, very excited to be able to use these different astrological possibilities to further this journey. I'm very much looking forward to it in myself, but also looking forward to offer it in others. So thank you for your patience, for listening, and stay tuned.